Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly show where I take on a particular topic and sometime have a guest on here. And this week I have my fiancee Jess.
It's me.
And Jess's topic that she wanted to talk about, because I asked her to come up with one, and this is what she came up with,
This is the one Shane suggested.
Do award shows matter? And before we jump into our thoughts, I'm going to paraphrase Seth Rogen's thoughts. Why should we care about award shows? Nobody cares about like auto award shows and stuff like that. Maybe people just don't care about like movie award shows, and why should they?
How dare you say the J.D. Power Associates Award?
That we get thrown in our
Doesn't matter.
faces every time we watch a Chevy ad.
I'm pretty sure you can buy it.
I guess technically you could buy an Oscar too. Just
Yeah.
ask he who should not be named who used to run Miramax and the blank company.
Bojack goes over there too.
Sure does.
Sort of.
Got to put it out that Oscar campaign. But Jess, do award shows matter?
I think the short answer is yes. They do, for better and for worse.
But you have a take on that specifically. What is it?
I do. It is. I think they do matter. I mean, at the end of the day, I know people who think, oh man, that's a sign of prestige. It won an award. I'm going to check it out. And then when they do marketing campaigns for movies, it's the first thing you see before an actor is Academy Award winner, blah, blah, blah. Academy Award nominee, blah.
The Irishman Academy Award.
That's what I mean. So I think they do matter. The question is whether or not they should.
You spend so much time asking yourself if you could instead of if you should. Thank you, Jeff Goldblum.
Ethics.
So, what is your take? Do you think they shouldn't matter?
I think that it's what interest groups do, you know. We have a lot of marketing telling us yes, they should, because it's seen as a prestige. I made a smart metaphor I'm trying to think of again. Smart, it's not smart. I compared it to money, where other symbols or tokens, where a token is something that doesn't have value, but that can either be exchanged for goods or...
Money is a construct.
Money, it is. It's a token. It's the same as a flag. Symbols are assigned value. I think awards are the same way, is that they're assigned value. Whether or not they should, or
if you trust those who assign the value to them.
Well, it's like the Razzies. Nobody really gives a shit.
That's because the Razzies don't even focus on the worst, except this year, when they had a whole entire category of Bruce Willis movies, which are all the worst.
But that's what I mean. I think that they don't. But, I mean, the Golden Globes, do people really care about the Golden Globes anymore? Some people do, I guess.
Well, not as... Well, they can't even get a television contract to put it on, because people for a long time have thought the Golden Globes are a joke. And they kind of are, because, yeah, you can wine and dine the Hollywood Foreign Press Association and get a Golden Globe.
So there it goes.
And it's like a group of 70 people.
So think about A24, too. They win a bunch of festivals and awards and stuff. Other indie features also win, Cannes, South by Southwest, and Toronto Film Festival.
Because A24
So if you like that kind of movie, I mean, I think it falls into what do you like, too, because if you like that kind of movie, you can follow those and check them out.
Well, and nothing's more gratifying than watching the Oscars and seeing what wins and getting pissed off that it won because you didn't agree with it.
That's what I mean. I think you gotta find your niche. You gotta find which ones you historically agree with, and then you can assign more value to it.
Well, and I think that is interesting, too, because, like, you do have the festival circuit, and you have, like, Cannes gave the Palme d'Or to Titan, and then what did that get Titan? It didn't even make the Oscar shortlist. And
that's what I mean.
Then some movie about a yak got nominated.
Yak in a classroom.
Yak in a classroom, which, to be fair, I haven't seen yet,
Happens.
so I don't want to be too harsh about it. But where's a hero? Like, where's worst person in the world? Like, they had some amazing international films this year, and see, I'm getting hot and bothered about this. Obviously, I care. And I guess for me, is I value individual praise a lot. Because I think it's important for people to be acknowledged for the great work that they do. But the tricky thing about film is it's subjective. Because, like, if you think about, like, you win a safety award, there's, like, probably actual tests that they do and, like, quantitative ways for them to figure out which one is actually the safest. And you would think that that's how they would figure it out. I don't know enough about auto awards to know if that's true or not. But, like, you do tests and you actually look at it. Film is subjective. And there's even actors over the years who have refused Oscars because they didn't agree with the whole system. Like George C. Scott won for playing Patton. Amazing. It's one of my favorite performances of all time. He didn't want the Oscar because he's like, how are you supposed to compare my performance as George S. Patton against 4 other men who are all playing different roles? Unless you're going to compare us playing the same exact role, then how do you even judge that?
That's just called an audition.
There you go. And you audition, whoever got it wins. So I guess George C. Scott won. I don't know if he auditioned or not. Because, some actors just get roles.
Yeah,
But the idea is, like, obviously, there's a lot of subjectivity to it. And I think it's more, where I see the value in it is the spotlight that it puts on it.
True.
But also screw spotlight.
No publicity is bad publicity.
Now I'm just sitting here thinking about The Revenant, Mad Max Fury Road, Brooklyn, all the movies that could have won Best Picture instead of Spotlight. Which, if anybody have ever heard me talk about Spotlight on anything, you'll know that I do not have strong positive feelings about that movie. Don't even get me started.
He'll come downstairs and tell me about it. And I'll nod and act like I've seen Spotlight. I haven't seen Spotlight. I'm not really interested in it. But people like my mom were like, oh, I heard it was really great. It got Best Picture.
Well, and that's the point. Because, like, they can... And I think that's why it benefits smaller films. Because, like... Here's the thing. And this is an interesting take. And I am not going to make a designation on if I actually thought that Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the top 10 films of 2021. I think in this context right now that's irrelevant. For people saying that it should have been for the recognition, I don't agree with necessarily. Well, that's the thing, because who didn't see Spider-Man No Way Home? That's the honest question.
People love that movie.
Literally has made $760-something million domestically during a pandemic.
People love that film.
People have seen it a ridiculous amount of times.
It's an institution.
It is now. It's literally the only movie really making money in the past year. And it's just like, does that need recognition? And, like, I've seen comments about, like, Nomadland was the lowest grossing film ever to win Best Picture last year. And I'm like, it's actually weird thinking back to last year that Nomadland won Best Picture, because I've really thought about Nomadland a whole lot since last year. I didn't think last year was a very strong year for film, unfortunately, but, like...
It held back a lot.
Because a lot of things got pushed back. I do think, 2020 specifically, not 2021. That's what I was talking about.
That's film year.
Yes. But, like, I don't know. I feel like the Oscars do matter. And it matters to me because I do think it's important for there to be that kind of recognition. It's just hard to do that for art. Because, like, who's judging it? And I appreciate the fact that it's their peers. It's like their peers vote on this. And everybody in the Academy votes for Best Picture. And that's how things like Green Book get nominated and win Best Picture. Which, I enjoy Green Book. I own it. But I would not have picked Green Book for Best Picture.
It reminds me of something I learned from a YouTube video on how to get people to decide things and agree on things. You don't go with your top, you say basically, Shane, of the 5 restaurants I'm going to give you, which 3 would you most want to go? Taco Bell, Wendy's, McDonald's, Popeyes, or Arby's?
Arby's, Popeyes, and McDonald's.
Okay, and you'd be fine with any of those?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I don't like... There's nothing for me at Popeyes. I don't eat meat. There's nothing for me at Arby's either. I don't eat meat, but there's something in McDonald's. Well, kind of. I mean, I'm pescatarian. I can get a filet of fish.
Filet of fish.
So, there you go.
Fish.
So now, of those three choices, we found one that suits both of us. McDonald's. McDonald's probably wouldn't have been my first choice. My first choice would have been Taco Bell. Wouldn't have been his first choice. I'm just going to speak for him because I know it's not his first choice. So, we wouldn't have agreed because of that, but since you had that ranked choice, basically, I guess it's not.
And this is exactly how Bohemian Rhapsody got nominated for Best Picture. Because people love Queen. It was an enjoyable movie.
If you love Freddie Mercury, I feel like you shouldn't love that movie. Hot take. I don't think it's a hot take.
I know some people that would argue with you, but they're also just like, I love Queen so much that they're just going to say, I love Bohemian Rhapsody. It's an objectively poorly made film. Like, how that won Best Editing for actual terrible editing is kind of funny. And that's weird, too, because it's editors that vote on that. I don't get it.
Maybe they did that thing, like, in The Office, where they all voted for Oscar's outfit, because they thought nobody else was going to vote for him, and then he won. Because they all voted for him.
They should just vote for anything that Scorsese makes because of Schumacher.
I just have an issue, we went over this Bohemian Rhapsody, because they're telling Freddie Mercury, it's not the story of Queen, it's the story of Freddie Mercury. You spend way more time... By the
members of Queen.
You spend way more time on Freddie Mercury than anybody else, and yet he is not the one who's telling his story. They're all telling his story. I don't like that.
And they said he was being a dick.
Yeah, and they're completely glossing over the shitty things they did anyway, that's...
But yes, so I feel like, to this conversation, I think that award shows should matter. Because I personally think that it's important to have that kind of praise and recognition. I'm just saying that it's tough when you're dealing with art. Because it's subjective.
Yeah, that's why I think...
And I could watch The Lighthouse and think it's one of the top 3 best films of the year, which I did. And then our friend Paige, who absolutely despises it, could see it as like a giant piece of trash. So...
That's why I think you should find special interest groups that align with your...
That's why you find friends that you like movies with.
Well, yeah, and like for someone who participates in various crafting communities, there's special interest groups for specific people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm in... can't remember if I'm a member, but I will be, at some point, a member of the Modern Quilt Guild, which is different than traditional quilt blocks. They're markedly different. I like them more. They have different styles. It's a different group.
You know you're cool when you have a guild.
Yeah.
And then, Jess, your feelings are, you don't feel like they should matter.
No, I'm ambivalent. I think that as long as people ascribe meaning to them, they're going to have value. But my opinion is that you should find ones that adhere. So if you get pissed at the Oscars every year, if you want to get pissed, go for it. There's a lot of value in your feelings. It's fine. They're valid. They're good. Not my style. I'm more likely to pay attention to the smaller festivals. And not even can anymore, but, with Telluride in Toronto and South by Southwest. I tend to like those a little bit more.
Well, I think it's interesting to see what they're showing at them. I think the tricky thing is it's very limited, though.
Very true.
Because, technically the Oscars are covering every single film.
It's a broad net to cast.
And, the festivals, it's there's specific films at those festivals and stuff like that.
Find one that adheres to movies that you like.
Exactly. You have Sundance, you have South by Southwest, you have Toronto International Film Festival, Venice Film Festival, all of them. And then you have you have the Independent Spirit Awards, so that's more your speed.
Yeah.
And you want to hear Adam Sandler give an absolutely amazing acceptance speech. You should go watch his Best Actor speech for Uncut Gems. And when he's just like, and all of them will remember this is the day that they lost Best Actor to Adam Sandler.
But that's what I mean. You gotta find the groups that you...
Yeah. Because, if you love indie film, obviously watch the Independent Spirit Awards. If you have a problem with Don't Look Up being nominated for Best Picture and it really pisses you off enough, then don't watch the Oscars. I'm upset that I got nominated, but I'm still going to watch the Oscars because I do every year. And we're going to have a party with pigs in a blanket and pizza.
And others.
Because that's what you do. At least at my parties.
That's what Shane does.
That's what Shane does at his parties. But Jess, any other thoughts on do award shows matter?
Not one. Those are
Me
all my
neither.
feelings.
So there we go. But thank you all for tuning in and always supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.